everyone and welcome back to more BanG Dream Ave Mujica. The die is cast, I believe is the actual subtitle of this show. This is gonna be episode 2. So I posted episode 1 last week. You guys seem to really like it. The people who tended to like my music band girl anime reactions came crawling back to my channel. I love it. Thank you so much for joining me for this series. I like genuinely something that is so cool is that I would say with this channel, I started this channel, like the inspiration for this channel was at some point I was watching a BanG Dream, I think it was like just regular BanG Dream season 3 or something, or 2 or 3 or something, and I remember looking up the show on YouTube to see if there were reaction videos to it, and there were, but there weren't many, and there weren't ones that I really gelled with overall. I don't think the reactors that are doing BanG Dream are bad reactors, but they weren't really gelling with the style of reaction that I really look for. So I had a problem where I was like, there aren't many people doing BanG Dream, and I thought, well, if there was a YouTuber like me, then I would try to do BanG Dream content on my channel, and then I could be that fill that hole that I feel there is. But I thought, you know, the point would be I would be doing the popular shows and they would be the more popular ones on my channel, and then I'd do BanG Dream content just for the very small audience that actually want to see that. But it turns out it's the other way around. The popular shows, sometimes they do get attention and sometimes they don't, but it's like, it's very wishy-washy. But BanG Dream, It's MyGo, and Ave Mujica, as well as, if not BanG Dream, but Girls Band Party, are, you know, some of my higher rated series. People really like those ones, and it's funny because that's kind of why I started the channel, was because of BanG Dream. And it turns out that was a good idea. So thank you guys for joining me for this content, and we're gonna jump into episode 2. Last episode we learned a lot about Saki and how her life sucks, and like kind of why she was acting the way she was in season 1. So now all of their masks are off in front of everyone because of Nyamuchi? Is that her name? Yeah, Nyamuchi. So I'm still gonna have to, you know, internalize some of these names. Nyamuchi, Saki, Mutsumi, Uika, and oh boy, I can't remember the last one. I can picture her face, but I can't remember her name. Anyway, let's jump into this episode. Make sure to support this video if you can. If you like these reactions and you want to watch the full episode, you can go to my Patreon account down in the description below. It has the full-length reaction, but you do have to sync it up with your own footage, so make sure to do that. But yeah, full-length reaction down in the description below. I also have a Jent Watches One Piece channel. If you like One Piece, please go check that out. And final little thing, just in case you're interested, I'm playing Metaphor ReFantazio on my Jent Watches More channel, which should also be in the description below. And that's a fantastic game. So if you like Metaphor ReFantazio, I'm going through a playthrough of it right now, so go check that out. Anyway, here we go, Ave Mujica, episode 2. That's gonna be one hell of a concert to go to. Is it frustrating for her that Saki leaves their band behind and then just makes a new band? I like how she's got her marked as Ricky on her phone. It did go kinda well. Umiko, that's the name I was forgetting. Yeah, that's true. Oh. It's really throwing Mutsumi. Holy shit! OP! I forgot we didn't have an OP last time. Oh yeah. Oh cool, you have like tarot cards? Or maybe they're just supposed to be playing cards. Oh, this is awesome! Oh, oh my god. Oh, the strings. That's awesome. I know this song. Why do I know this song? Did they play this already in the show? Oh. Damn, the visuals here are fucking crazy. That's a great OP. That's so good. Hey girls. Anyone want to talk to me about it? About the fact that I'm famous? Oh. Oh, I missed her so much. You can't hide her from that. I like how she tried to. Ah! Aww. I don't think she cares that you didn't tell her. Ha! It's always gonna make me laugh. Oh, don't bring it to Mutsumi. Are you kidding me? Talk to Saki about it. Mutsumi doesn't deserve this. That's low, Sayo. You know Mutsumi's gonna struggle with that conversation. Oh, I miss this band dynamic so much. I love it. Man, they are pissed. Didn't quite work out as much for you. Yeah. Man, Saki's actually got a lot of patience to deal with this. She's gonna rub it in. Oh, we're invited in? Damn. Personal chef. Aww. I mean, she's networking. This is good networking. Is this a movie? Yeah. Oh, I might like Umiko a lot. Poor Mutsumi, this is so much for her. Oh god. Hey, stay in character. Oh, Mutsumi. Or it won't last long because of what happened with Cry Chick. Oh man. She's got PTSD. Oh, she really cares about Mutsumi so much. If this was Nyamuji, she'd be screaming at her. Oh my god. So much. It's all about her family. She's got like that dead-eyed stare, but it works really well for a photo shoot, especially for Ave Mujica. Aww. Cute. What a positive duo right there. You need a friend like that. Damn, that sucks. But yeah, I mean, she's not going home anymore, right? You gonna stay with Uika?
それで本当に作業が進むの？家が遠いなら私の家じゃダメ。
Yeah, stay with her.
やっぱり私の家に
Yeah, it's good. Be firm about it.
遠慮なんかいらないからね。あ、10秒だけ待ってくれる？1まだだからね。まだ3ですわ。
Just tell her when to come in.
言ってね。あとは寝る場所だよね。
She's so accommodating. Yeah, this feels like the right place for Saki.
ここでいいの？狭くない？
It's actually kind of nice.
ずっといていいから。ずっと一緒にいるから。
She's so sweet. Having to revise the script. Oh my gosh. That's me today, honestly. I got such terrible sleep last night. Did they have to learn all their lines, like, in one day? Because that sucks if that's the case. I mean, props to her for revising the script and fitting all this in. She's so exhausted. Oh, Mutsumi. She's in bad shape. Oh. Damn. The last one that's gonna shine on is Mutsumi. Oh god. Oh, she's so frozen. Oh yeah. Oh, they've got such cool music. Oh god. Oh. Man, every concert something crazy is gonna happen to this band, huh? Jesus, man. ED. Ooh. It's like a fantasy theme. If you showed me the CD on its own, I would think it was from a fantasy show. That's very pretty. I love this style. Oh! Hell yeah. That's beautiful. This art is so great. Wow. Jeez, man, what a crazy episode. And this show is so dark, and it's really cool because, I mean, it's going for a certain, like, feel to it, right? And I mean, it's really funny, like, it's in the Bang Dream universe, and Bang Dream, I feel like, has been getting darker and darker with its stuff as it goes on, you know? Like, I feel like, you know, Bang Dream, the actual anime of Bang Dream, I would say, I mean, the first, like, the 3 seasons of Bang Dream or whatever, they are, they have, like, really sort of emotional and painful moments and stuff. Like, I remember, you know, season 1, really emotional moment of, like, Kasumi losing her voice or whatever, and I remember season 2 was, like, the idea that she was going to leave the band, right? And then she, like, confessed that she didn't want to or whatever. And then season 3, I think that was based around Razor Sulin and all of that stuff going on. Well, that was also season 2, right? But, like, there, you know, there's definitely some moments that stand out to me. And it's been a while since I've seen the Bang Dream seasons, but as, like, you know, emotional moments or whatever. But not too many of them are very dark, I would say. I think, for me, from memory, Morphonica was, like, the turning point of, like, I remember when Morphonica came out in the English servers of Bang Dream, I read the Morphonica story and I was like, wow, this is like a very serious story, because I kind of expected it to be like, you know, like the other Bang Dream bands where for the most part it's the characters like being friends and getting together. Like even Pastel Palettes, which is like a company formed band, like they were a band formed by auditions and they didn't really know each other beforehand and stuff. Like it's just like a bunch of executives in a room going, yeah, that girl and that girl and that girl, let's put them all together, you know? Even them, they were like super happy and fun and great, you know? And then Morphonica, it was actually kind of dark, I feel like, in their reactions and their depictions of like anxiety and stuff. And so I remember when Morphonica was coming out, I was like, huh, this is a pretty like intense character grouping and story. And then it brought me to MyGo, which I was like, wow, this is a insane dark like sort of character work that they're doing here. Well, I mean, it's not, I guess MyGo wasn't as much dark as it was intense. Like it's just a lot of intense emotion. Now in Ave Mujica, we've gone fully into dark, I would say. Like there's, in these 2 episodes alone, I mean, we've been looking at Sakiko's past and her mother dying and her father being an alcoholic and kind of like kicking her out of the house, or like at least making her not feel comfortable in her own house. And you see like the way that grief has affected her over all this time, and you see now the way that like Mutsumi seemingly has a combination of like PTSD from what happened with Crychick and what's happened in the past, and the overbearing pressure of her life and the people around her and like what her family is like, it seems like. And it's like Mutsumi is not one for the spotlight, and I think like she's in an unfortunate position. And like, admittedly, I don't want people to go too in depth on my character analysis for these bits, because I don't have the greatest information for these characters. So I'm basically doing this all off of vibes. So this is what I'm reading into it based off of vibes. But it feels to me like Mutsumi's not one for the spotlight, and she's probably in a situation where, you know, like she and Saki like knew each other growing up and stuff. Like Saki is the support system she has, like the entire support system that she's got. And unfortunately, Saki is kind of seeking that spotlight and seeking not necessarily the spotlight, but like that's what, you know, whatever she's seeking is on the other side of a spotlight. And Mutsumi, to keep her support system, has to stick along, has to stand by Saki's side. And that's a very difficult thing for her, because we can see she suffers with pretty intense anxiety and stage fright depending on the situation. Like they said she's done a lot of interviews and stuff before, and she's probably performed on stage a lot before. Like her stage fright probably comes and goes based on her own mental state, but like she certainly has panic attacks, and it's got to be incredibly difficult for her, because if she like wants to be comfortable and happy or whatever and not feel this pressure and feel this intensity, she would have to quit the band. And if she quits the band, I imagine in her mind she's like, I'm basically saying I give up on Saki, like I'm not gonna be with Saki anymore. And if she does that, who does she have? What does she have? I don't think she feels as comfortable with anyone else, really. So it's a huge struggle for her. And I think even at the end there, we had like Mutsumi came in all exhausted and sleep deprived and like freaking out and not well at all. And Saki didn't really do much about that. Like I do think Saki cares a lot about Mutsumi and loves Mutsumi. I also think Saki right now is under a lot of fucking stress and cannot focus on other people's problems right now. And so, like, maybe she sees Mutsumi feeling that way, maybe she doesn't. I don't know. I don't know if she even read that Mutsumi was having trouble. It is very possible that Saki sees Mutsumi in a bit of trouble, but she's so, like, in her own head about, like, well, I have all these bigger problems, that subconsciously she's like, Mutsumi will deal with that. You know, she tends to get through that sort of stuff on her own, so I'll leave her to it. Which is possible. Like, I feel like I've done that in the past. I mean, it feels very sad to say, but I feel like I have done that in the past, where I have been struggling with something on my own and having a kind of shitty day, or going through something that really hurts me, and then I see one of my friends who's going through something of their own, and it's nothing to do with me, but of course I could, like, see that they're going through that and reach out and go like, hey, I'm gonna help you get through this. And I don't, because I'm dealing with my own shit, and I feel so deep in it that I'm like, I have to trust that they're gonna get themselves out of that, because I feel like I need to get myself out of this spiral. I think that's what's happening with Saki. I think that's, like, whether she knows it or not, I don't think she's necessarily having that thought process, but I think that could be an interpretation of why at the end there she doesn't seem to be helping Mutsumi at all. But also, it straight up could just be she's so distracted, she's just not even at all, like, I don't even think she looks at her when she comes into the room. I'm gonna, like, sort of go back to that scene and see, but I don't, it's hard to tell because you mostly have, like, close-ups of Saki and we see her eyes, but I think she's staring, like, at the rest of the band. So yeah, I don't think she even looks at her. She doesn't even see her. But I think, you know, she's been friends with her enough time, she should generally be able to pick up the energy of her friend. Like, a lot of the time, you know, you'll see, this is a weird example, but you'll see those, like, TikToks and stuff online of, it's not as much of a thing anymore, but there was a trend that went around for a while of people who would guess how their friend would enter the room, right? So, like, they would go like, oh, how's David gonna enter the room? Oh, he's probably gonna, like, walk in, he's gonna have a drink and go like, look what I got, and then put it down. Or someone else will go, no, he's gonna walk in and he's gonna go, hey guys. You know, like, and everyone tries to guess, like, what they did, and then while watching all the friends guess what it is, you get this idea of who this person is in your head, and then when they come in and do the thing, you're like, that makes sense for them, you know? So when you're friends with people for so long, you tend to know how they're gonna, like, enter a room, for example. So I feel like Saki knows how Mutsumi would enter a room, even though obviously she's a very quiet person. She enters quiet no matter what. You can sense an energy generally when you're friends with someone. Like, a quiet person, I know lots of quiet people who, like, barely speak, but you can tell the difference between when they're quiet because they don't feel like talking, or they're quiet because they're genuinely upset about something. And it's a very subtle difference, but you can tell. So Saki would have been able to tell had everything not be piling down on her, but right now she has a horrible home life. She has no home life. Luckily for, like, that Uika's there, but she has no home life, and she's having to redo everything because of Nyamuchi's change to everything. So she's also working overtime for all of this. What we're actually not seeing is these characters are also probably practicing their music, which I know feels like, you know, we don't need to see those scenes, but I think it is important to take into account the fact that their band is very good. Their music is very, very good, and to be that good at music, you have to do a lot of practice. So they're, on top of everything that's going on, they're probably also putting hours and hours into practicing the songs that they're playing. And then they also probably have to do these group rehearsals and all of that. So, and we're just not seeing any of that, but that's something else weighing them down. So yeah, Saki's got a lot of shit to deal with, and Mutsumi has a lot of shit to deal with, but Mutsumi is slightly less equipped to deal with it. The thing about Saki, at least, is she has built up kind of calluses. In the same way that when you're playing guitar, you build up calluses so that your fingers don't hurt as much when you're holding the strings. Sakiko has built up calluses around her heart so that she can sort of plow through a lot of this pain, and she can keep pushing past it. It's not going to last forever. She could reach a breaking point, but, you know, like, Mutsumi is going to be reaching a breaking point much earlier. I mean, I think we've seen the breaking point. She basically collapsed on stage. So, yeah, I'm really nervous about how this is going to go. But I think this is really well written. It's a really beautifully written show with some excellent characters. I'm liking Umiko. I say that just because she had one moment in this episode that I really liked, which is just like when they watched the movie and then she just like the other two were crying, she was completely straight faced and went, "That was great." It was just really funny. I love Umiko. I think this is good. I think they've done a good job at making me like all these characters, and I'm liking them in a similar way to MyGo, where I'm liking them because there's a lot of flaws there, and I'm finding it very interesting to, like, when we got into MyGo, sorry, I heard a noise. When we got into MyGo, it was like Anon, I loved Anon from the start, but she was like kind of selfish and you know, had her own sort of weird ego to her, and she was like prodding into things that she didn't need to prod into, you know. And Tomari was like amazing in a cinnamon bun, and I wouldn't like want to disparage her at all, but also, you know, she does have flaws. Obviously, she's got the anxiety, the lack of confidence, and she had a tendency to try to hide away from a lot of the stuff that was difficult for her. You have Reina, who just kind of didn't pay attention to anyone else and didn't care about what anyone else was thinking or feeling. She was just there for the music. I can't remember. Is her name Reina? It's been a while, and she was probably the character that we saw the least. There was Ricky. I'm gonna call her Ricky, who obviously is very hot-headed and causes a lot of drama just because she like doesn't let any comments slip by her, and she always like fight back. And then of course Soyo, who is probably, we found out, the most flawed out of all of them, in that she had a very toxic personality. But you know, we grew through all of that. But even with all of that toxicity, I always really liked these characters. I don't tend to hate a ton of characters. If a character has a lot of flaws, if they're very, if they, you know, are going through a lot, if there's a lot of complexity to them, and if I see room for them to grow, then I tend to like them. I tend to like them at least as a character. I probably wouldn't necessarily like them in real life. Like Soyo, I don't think I could be friends with Soyo in real life. Like, it's too much. That's too much toxicity. I actually know some people like Soyo in real life, and yeah, no. I don't spend too much time with those people, because it's too much. And your mood can be really screwed over. But I really appreciate the way the show portrays it. I think it's great. So yeah, with MyGo, these characters were so flawed, but I really liked them, and I thought the show did a great job at humanizing them and making me care about them despite the fact that they were a mess. I was worried with Ave Mujica because the characters were so secondary in MyGo, and from what I had seen, they were so serious that I was like, are they just going to be kind of boring in their own series? You know, like, is there going to be something interesting to them? But I should have trusted it, because we're 2 episodes in, and now I have a sticking point with each of the characters. I have something about each of the characters that completely attaches me to them. So I would say Saki, I really want her to pull herself out of this slump, or be pulled out of this slump by someone. And I want her to find happiness again. I want to see Saki smile again and be happy again. Mutsumi is like the Tomori of this group. I love her, and it's hard not to love her. And obviously I want her to be happy as well, and I want her to find comfort in whatever is going on here. And then we have Umiko, who like is, I guess, kind of like the Rana of... I need to look up to make sure that her name is actually Rana before I keep saying her name over and over again. MyGo members. Okay, let's see. Because otherwise I'm going to be saying this name over and over again, and it's going to be embarrassing. Yeah, Rana. Okay, good. Yeah, Umiko feels like the Rana to me, where it's like she's kind of on the outside. She's just, you know, she's just there to do the job, whatever. You know, she's not causing too much drama right now. She might in the future, but right now, it's like she's just going with the flow. But I like her because she's funny, and I like sort of flat characters like that. They can be very funny. Then you have Uika, who is like just amazing and super supportive, and I think something this band desperately needed. They really needed someone like Uika, and if they lose her, I think the band destroys itself, and Saki Kobe destroy herself. So I think they really do need her. And then finally, Nyamu, who I'm sure a lot of people while watching this hate her right now, but I don't tend to hate those sorts of characters. For me, I think she's incredibly flawed, and right now probably her flaws are shining the most in these episodes because she's like such a shit stirrer. She's stirring the pot so much. But I don't know. Like, I mean, also part of it is like she's a content creator. I'm a content creator. Maybe I relate to her more. But I hope that I don't do this sort of shit to people. I mean, I don't tend to make content about other people. I make all my content about myself generally. But yeah, no, she is a content creator through and through. And I think where the difficulty is coming in is Nyamu is seeing this as part of her career. She is trying to grow her brand, and she's doing it with a smile because she, I think, enjoys her job, but she's treating it like a job, as you kind of have to sometimes, especially to be as successful as her. I mean, being in content creation, there's a section of it where it's a hobby, but then once you pass a certain point and it starts to become an actual job, there's a lot of stuff you have to focus on that isn't as fun, and there's a lot of stuff that takes a lot of effort to do, you know. And I'm not just speaking from my experience. I am kind of, because like not just this channel and not just my Jent Watches One Piece channel, but I've run previous YouTube channels in the past, some of which were like quite a bit more successful than this one was. And not only did I experience a lot of the stuff, but I'm friends with people who are or were extremely successful. I'm like I know people who are like the household names for their niche, you know, like if you look into their niche, their name is going to come up as like one of the top 3 people or whatever in their niche. And you see how much work and how much you have to put into that. And sometimes it really is like you can't turn off when it's like you're in a situation where Mutsumi's mom invites you to their house, and then you take that opportunity to network with her. That's what I feel like she was doing. I do think she was excited to meet her, and I do think she loved all that was going on. I also think she was networking, because that's what you got to do sometimes. Like, she found an in to make herself more successful, and she took it. Now, the problem is, she is doing that kind of, firstly, without the proper communication. I mean, the other thing is she is talking about it, but she's not like taking in information, she's only giving it out. So like, props to her for saying to Saki like exactly how she's feeling and thinking about all of these decisions, and is telling her like, this is the best time for us to do this, this is why I did it, and I, you know, we need to become popular and blah blah blah. I like that she is talking about it, but when Saki talks back and they have a discussion, Nyamu does not care about what Saki says in response to her, and that's where she's really going wrong. But like, I think another big part of what the problem is not everyone in the band is as serious about that aspect of it, you know? If Nyamuchi is using it, like Nyamuchi is thinking of it as a way for them all to gain personal success. Like, all of the members of the band will gain from this. That's, I think, what she's thinking. Saki, it's kind of hard to tell with Saki. Either she's thinking of it through the artistic value of it, which I think is the most likely, because she cares about the presentation of all of them. She cares about like Ave Mujica's image as a whole, and she likes the artistry. She does the music, she writes the plays, and like, you know, why would you bother with all those plays and all of that shit? Like, completely honestly, I feel like in this universe, the fans probably like the plays, but if they stopped doing the plays, I don't think the fans would have too much outroar. Like, I reckon, you know, I'm sure there would be like a subsection of the audience that loves that part of them, but I feel like a lot of them, it's like, we just love Ave Mujica, we just love their band, we just love their music, and we like their vibe, but like, you know, maybe necessarily the plays don't matter as much, but it might matter a lot to Saki. And then Mutsumi, I think, just cares about the connection to Saki and just being near Saki. And then like Uika and Umiko, I don't know. I think they're just kind of along for the ride right now. I don't even know if they know what they want from the band yet. Uika's having the thing right now where she's actually she's being super supportive, but isn't taking any steps in any directions, I think, which I love Uika so far, but I do wonder, you know, what is her, like, would this go a little smoother if she took someone's side? Because at the start of the episode, there was a moment where Saki and Nyamuchi were arguing, and then they mentioned, I think Saki mentioned it could have fucked with Uika or whatever, and Nyamuchi turned to Uika and went, oh shit, I'm sorry about that, and Uika just went, that's fine, and then just like, you know, continued to do it. But like, the way she did it was like, she's on Saki's side in that she, like, maybe, you know, maybe she doesn't think they should have taken off their mask and does think Nyamuchi was being reckless, but isn't going to say that. And then Nyamuchi apologizes to her, and she like accepts the apology and tells her it's fine, which, like, you know, or, you know, I don't think she says it's fine in as many words. I think she just kind of says like, don't worry. But still, I think she, in doing that, she implicitly gives her permission that, like, that was okay, you know. She forgives her essentially for it. And the problem with that is that I think both Saki and Nyamuchi feel like they have Uika on their side. So both of them will feel more justified in their actions because of that. If Uika stood up and said to Nyamuchi, hey, you did cross the line, I think you crossed the line as well, then maybe Nyamuchi would go, okay, it's not just Saki that's thinking that. Because sometimes it's like, okay, this bitch has a problem with me, but everyone else isn't saying anything, so I think they all agree with me. If someone else stands up, especially someone like Uika, who doesn't tend to stand up and speak her mind on stuff like that, if she stood up and said, like, I think I have a problem with that, then maybe Nyamuchi would start to listen. But then she's choosing a side, and then it maybe risks rattling the band. Alternatively, she could stand up and go, Saki, Nyamuchi's right. This was the best option for the band, and you were being too stubborn to see that. And if she says that to Saki, maybe Saki goes, is that how people feel about me? Do people really think I'm doing what's worse for the band? Maybe Nyamuchi's right. Maybe I should think about this more, or we should start discussing this as a band. And either way could probably affect the band. Now, both of those could go horribly. If you criticize Nyamuchi, she could just go, you know what? No, fuck you too. And I'm going to keep doing this shit just to spite you two. She could absolutely do that. And if you criticize Saki, she could go, how dare you? I thought you were my friend. You can fuck right off. And also, this band is screw this band as well. You guys don't understand this properly. You're fired, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired. And maybe Mutsumi and I will just do this alone. Get out. So both of those could go very wrong, and I think that's why Uika wouldn't commit to choosing a side. But I feel like also it's stagnating the band, the fact that she's not choosing a side. So yeah, I think there's a lot of interesting stuff going on there. We got an OP and ED in this episode. They were great. There's not much to say about them, but they were really, really great. I mean, the visuals in the OP, I love the OP. The visuals in it are so good. And the song was good. Do I know the song? I feel like I need to, because it was called Kill Kiss or something. I feel like I need to see why did I know that song? Because it sounded familiar. Was it played in this show yet? Kill Kiss? Let me see. Okay, I don't know why I know it. Because I'm just looking on the wiki page. I don't see it being mentioned that it was used in anything but it was in one of their live performances, but I haven't seen their live performances. So if you guys know why I know that song, let me know. but I don't know why I know it. So yeah, it was a great OP. I also think just this episode of Mutsumi sitting there and going it won't last long in the interview. This is a thing that I feel like I do as well, where when things fall apart often, you start to not have any hope for any of them. In a more minor way, I will have it with when there's D&D sessions or something, right? I have a group. If I have a group of D&D and we get together every week, then it's great, and I make sure to talk to them every week about it, and it's really exciting. And then there's some groups that they will cancel very often, and they'll cancel at the last second, or they'll cancel during the session, they'll cancel once everyone showed up, or they'll cancel the day before or whatever. And it does start to give me anxiety, where then with that group, when the time's coming up, I'm just going in my head it's not happening. I know it's not happening. Of course it's not happening. And so when I'm on my way there, or I'm setting up for it or whatever, I'm just in my head, I'm this is not worth it. I'm not even going to put my energy into it, because I know they're going to cancel. And then they cancel, and I go, yeah, of course. And then that's just it. And it really hurts still, but it's whatever, and you start to feel that way. And so even when it does happen, it's oh my god, it's happening. Okay, great. And you do it, but it feels a little more empty because I wasn't able to get myself excited for the session beforehand. And it's the same whenever I have some sort of artistic pursuits in my life or whatever. I've had enough failures where if there's anything that's kind of exciting, I still don't get myself excited about it necessarily, because I'm it's probably not going to happen. Whatever it is, it's just not going to happen. That's what Mutsumi's feeling. She knows Saki, and in all likelihood, genuinely, if this wasn't a TV show, Ave Mujica, they're not fucking lasting. No way, I would feel the same as Mutsumi. I'd be I'm not putting my bets into this band, because yeah, not only do we not get along super well, but we're also like rising so fast that like there's got to be a plummet, you know? It's like the line from Arcane where it's like, it's sad that the light that shines brightest often burns the fastest, or something like that. Where it's basically like, we're doing so well, but this is just an explosion. We've used up all our luck and our energy and everything that we've got. As soon as it starts to waver, as soon as it starts to go back down, we're not going to be able to last that, and it's going to implode on itself. So so that's what I think Mutsumi is thinking and feeling and saying out loud in interviews. And I mean, it's like part of the fault of that. And I mean, it's really sad to call it her fault because like we know why it happened. But part of the fault of that lies with Saki, because Saki's the one who blew up their previous band out of nowhere, you know, like really just like got rid of it and left everyone high and dry with it. And if you do that to people, if you just, in the same way that if you like, you know, cancel plans with people at the last second constantly, or if you like don't show up or whatever, you make people lose their faith in you. Like they just don't trust you anymore. So even when you say like, no, this time we're properly gonna do it, they go, well, yeah, but like it's you saying it, so why would I trust that? So that's what Mutsumi is feeling. I feel like she, like, I don't think she in her mind is saying, well, Saki's untrustworthy, but all she knows is failure in this field. So she just is waiting for that time, and she's essentially like cringing constantly, waiting for something to hit her on the head. Even in a completely safe space, she can't open her eyes because she's just constantly like that. So yeah, is this another hour video? I actually looked at my notes today when this episode ended, and I went, I don't think this is going to be a very long discussion. I don't think I have much to discuss. But now my throat's hurting, and I have one more video to record. Damn it, Bang Dream, Ave Mujica, the die is cast. It's a tough show, because I always have a lot to say. But yeah, anyway, I guess I'll end it there. That's Ave Mujica, episode 2. Make sure to support this video if you can, liking, commenting, and subscribing. And go to my Patreon account for full-length early access and exclusive videos. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.